fantastic. We go on our way to Londonderry or Derry.
Derry, Londonderry.
Hi, so we're here in Londonderry or Derry, depending on your political opinion. So as you can maybe guess, loyalists here, they call the city Londonderry, and the Catholics, the Republicans here, they call the city Derry. Actually, historically, it comes from the word daire, which is an Irish word for old oak forest. But yeah, London was made in the 16th, added in the 16th century in order to basically show the cementation of it as a British city. Over there, we've got the city side, which used to be very mixed between like Unionists and Republicans, but now that's no longer the case. It's predominantly Catholic on that side. There's one small enclave which we're going to later, which is called the Fountain, which is heavily spoken about. Over there, there's an area called the Derry Walls, and the Derry Walls is made in order to kind of cement the British position here 400 years ago. But then when we look over there, when we've got the water side of the city, over there, a lot of the time during the Troubles, a lot of loyalists moved to this side of the city, partly because of safety. And we can see over there, if you look very far away that way, that there's actually a bridge there. That was actually what separated the city back during the Troubles, and a lot of things went down over there. But at the moment, we're standing here on the Peace Bridge, and so this was made in the early 2010s, basically as a form of reconciliation between the two different sides of the community. And actually, even us, when we were making this mini documentary, we were actually surprised. It's actually way less sectarian than Belfast, even though that here Bloody Sunday happened, very horrible things happened, like pub shootings and stuff not too far away from here. But actually this is actually way less sectarian than we expected it to be, but we'll still try and explore the sectarian areas.
Now standing inside of the Derry Wall, so what you see here is one of the gates of the walls, and it was built by the first Brits settlers who came here, and they built those walls in order to protect themselves from the attacks of the Irish, who didn't accept their presence here. So we are in an area that used to be loyalist, but it changed massively. It's much more mixed now, and we could even argue it became mostly an Irish area. However, behind me is one of the last loyalist part of the city here in the center of Derry, Londonderry. So we are going to go explore that all together.
We're officially in the Fountain. The Fountain is like the last loyalist stronghold on this side of the city, on the city side of the river. The West Bank, which is closer to Ireland, is called the city side. The other side is called Waterside. And yeah, so here, this is the last outpost, which is considered one of the most proud areas, because these people really don't want to leave. A lot of the people here live in social housing, and this is one of the most intense places. So as you can see, like here, that they've actually even painted everything red, white, and blue like on the streets. You can also see over there, this is a Protestant cathedral, actually, which is very important to the loyalist community here. And like when you actually just walk around, it looks like a very normal estate, except for the British flags and stuff. But it is one of the more impoverished areas. There's big problems with addiction and the like. But we were just speaking to one of the locals over here, and he was telling me that 20 years ago he wouldn't have ever dared to set foot here because he was a Catholic. But he's saying that now, at the time, like except if you're walking around at night, it's a pretty alright place to be.
Stuff like that.
So 20 years ago you would have been scared to come here, right?
I wouldn't stand here.
Oh, yeah. And it changed quite quickly.
Yeah, it changed.
20 years is not that much.
Well, the Good Friday Agreement was a big part of it. So the whole, you know, no more paramilitaries, no more shootings, no more like drugs has gone way down. Like paramilitary shootings and beatings have gone way down. All of that stuff's gone right. The stuff that goes on in Derry now is all petty crimes compared to what it was.
So I thought they would beat you just for being here 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because they don't know your face. Like you wouldn't be able to stand here 20 years ago.
We would be getting beaten.
Yeah. You would get chased out.
So even if like, as an English guy walking in.
Yeah. Well, English isn't too much. Your accent would get you away with it.
Okay.
But that's how fickle it is.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It's laughable.
I lived in Belgium since I was like 3 weeks old.
Yeah. And who's to know? But yeah, it's changed so much. It's actually a really, really cool place to live now. Like the infrastructure and the money and the funding that's gone into the city centre, and even the outskirts of the city centre, it's such a better place to live.
He would also say that if I crossed that gate 20 years ago, just because I don't have a British accent, it's because they don't know me, they might kick me out of the place as well, or beat me even. So it's quite intense. It used to be, at least, and now it's much more peaceful. I can just roam here around and film myself. and I don't feel in danger anyhow. Nobody really cares. I haven't seen even Irish car being parked here, and nobody really cares about it.
Yeah, so don't quote us on the source of that, but yeah, like when I was speaking about a lot of the Protestants on this side of the city, they left towards the other side. This is basically what I was speaking about. But there's two sides of the story. Bloody Sunday is one of the things that happened here, and there was a lot of infighting from both sides. I don't know if this 83.4 number is free or not. Feel free to ChatGPT or Google it. But yeah, like a lot of Protestants on this side of the city left, and that's one of the reasons why this is so important to the loyalists. For like, well, when like for example the Rangers fans and the football songs they sing, "We'll guard those Derry walls," this is what they're talking about, the Fountain Estate.
Why you still have, as here, those signs talking about politics is much less visible in Derry, Londonderry, than it was in Belfast.
Like there's actually quite a few abandoned buildings in this area. Like you can actually see this in certain areas of England as well, where the poverty is a bit rampant and there's a bit too many abandoned buildings. They've actually just put wooden boards looking like houses there, so it looks better on Google Street View.
So this place where we are here, called the Fountain, still has a peace wall, and while it's much smaller than in Belfast, it just goes to show how divided politics and people still are here.
So what was this tower built for?
Derry jail.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So it
Cool.
was.
Ah, damn.
Whoa.
Oh, it looks amazing.
Wow,
It
so-
has collection.
Wow.
Nice. This is then all mainly dedicated to the Battle of the Somme.
But
Is this mainly dedicated to the Battle of the
that
Somme?
there's the first. That there's Battle of the Somme.
Whoa.
But if I take you straight off the top, work our way down.
Okay, yeah. He's gonna show us up from the top down.
Nice, nice, perfect. Wow, what a place.
Do you know how many times I've been up these stairs?
Yeah, you must be a fit man. In very good shape. Oh, this is amazing.
No, it's mine.
Ah, mine's.
My granda bought that for me.
Oh, wow, okay.
So this is my great granda.
That's your great granddad?
The Jacksons bought them in 1960. These here been thrown over. Me kept them.
That's funny, actually.
Paint bombs, sugar and salt. Petrol bombs just flew over and smashed it. So this is ours.
Wow.
We kept them for souvenir.
Yeah.
So that was blew up. So it's been left with us. So when the IRA blew us up, the army thought it was them. It blew it up. So my granda had the, where is it? He had a key. So the army thought, oh, well, Mr. Jackson, they were on holidays, so it must have come round here. And he goes, Data Bull's mad. Must have been a rope from down here, hung from here.
There's nothing left of that.
No, there's nothing left. It's just this.
Wow.
When you're looking at it, it used to be like that, because I was up on it. From there, down to here. Inside there's 105 steps during the siege.
Wow. So as you can see here, the entire area is closed off, it's sealed. There is this peace wall I just mentioned before. And there are just a few exits, like this one.
Yeah, they close it at night.
Yes, they close it at night, in the same concept than in Belfast. And here we are leaving the place called the Fountain.
And I found a free beer on the
Yeah,
floor.
a free beer on the floor. And as you see here, that's the fountain. We just left it. That's the entrance that will be closed at night. And we are back
Inside the Derry walls.
inside the Derry walls. We just came from that street. We just left the fountain. And we are now standing here on the Derry wall. You can see the cannons that were used to protect the city. In the distance, maybe you can just barely catch it on the camera, you see all the Irish flag. This is the Irish quarter there, and this is where we are heading to now.
Yeah, here on the Derry walls, you can see over here, like there's a lot of like housing estates. And so the thing is that back in the day, these were like predominantly Irish areas, actually still today. But yeah, so basically a lot of the Protestants in the area, the loyalists, they all were landowners, and a lot of the Irish Republicans, they didn't own any land. Well, normally that wouldn't matter, right, if you're renting or buying. Well, the thing is that it didn't used to be one person, one vote. What was happening was that only landowners could have land. And so we were in a situation where that there was a civil rights movement in the late 1960s. So in the late 1960s, the civil rights movement, they had a campaign called One Man, One Vote. And so when they were fighting for their rights, that sometimes it turned a bit violent. You had very different groups in there. You even had a lot of children showing up to the protest. You had a lot of people that were very peaceful, a certain group that was very violent. And these civil rights movements, they got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it even got into a state where that there was internment without trial done by the British Army when the British Army was sent here to get the situation of the big protests under control. And then a very sad moment happened. There was a paracommando division of the British Army, and this paracommando division of the British Army shot at a lot of innocent civilians, and 13 people died, and this day is called Bloody Sunday. So the paracommandos, they shot at innocent civilians, unarmed innocent civilians, even ones that were helping, giving medical attention to other innocent civilians shot by the British Army, by the paratroopers. Here you've got 13, the victims that died on Bloody Sunday. Britain has recognised this as completely unjustifiable, done by a Savile inquiry, and it was recognised by the Cameron government.
The political symbols become quite different. You can see a lot of flags of Palestine, of Puerto Rico, of Catalonia, Basque, and a lot of references to socialism.
In front of the hunger strike monument right now, and as you can see, like, it's a H behind me. This actually doesn't stand for hunger strike. So the hunger strike, it happened in a maze prison, or as the Republicans call it, Long Kesh. And so they called it the H block because a lot of prisons, they were shaped in the way of a H based on the block. So you had like UVF prisons with like loyalist prisoners inside, and they had IRA prisoners with Irish Republican prisoners inside. So the thing is that they didn't want to be classed as normal criminals, right? They wanted to be seen as political prisoners. Well, the thing is that there was a certain British politician called Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and she didn't really want to bow down. She called what the IRA did terrorism. And so the biggest problem was that the people that were the Irish Republican prisoners that were in the H block, they didn't want to wear prison uniforms. They wanted more freedom of association. They didn't want to participate in prison labor. So there were a bunch of demands that they had in relation to be recognized as the political prisoners instead of just normal criminal prisoners. Well, the thing is that they started with a dirty strike. So what they would do was they would put their feces on the wall and they would urinate out the doors. And the thing is, this happened for quite a few years. At the end of the day, it had such a limited effect on the people on the outside of the prison that it smelled very bad inside of one of the H blocks, that it didn't really help anything. But then one person called Bobby Sands, he started the hunger strike. He died from the hunger strike, but the British government didn't do anything about it. And then more and more people went on hunger strike to be recognized as political prisoners. One of them, the biggest things, was that the British government didn't particularly care about the people who were dying from the hunger strike, because Margaret Thatcher had a very famous saying, crime is crime is crime. It's not about political opinion, it's about crime. And then when there were a lot of Irish Republican prisoners dying, actually the growth of the Sinn Féin, the political wing of the IRA back in the day, this was it grew quite a lot, and also a lot of public sympathy even was happening in support of the IRA, even in the Republic of Ireland. And so while there are some very differing stories about how the hunger strike was ended, whether the IRA on the outside of the prison forced the hunger strikers to actually stop or not, we do not know what happened. But what we do know is that people died during the hunger strike, 22 Republican prisoners, and they lost their lives during the hunger strike.
In front of the monument you can find a sign explaining both in English and in Irish what happened during those events, and you see the face of all the people who lost their life due to the hunger strikes.
That the vast majority of the violence has definitely diminished since the Good Friday Agreement of 1998, and especially people such as myself and a lot of people born in 1998 or later, that they're much more peaceful than the people that are that happened before this peace agreement. That was one of the most problematic parts of this peace agreement, and that was a change to the Stormont Agreement. And so basically, because the Northern Ireland was always a very unionist, very loyalist dominated, very pro-British, the biggest problem was that the Irish felt very disenfranchised because democratically they couldn't have their needs met. So on the Good Friday Agreement, there's always needing to be one pro-loyalist and one pro-Irish, one pro-Republican party in the government, which is in the Stormont. And the thing is that we've got a really big problem, like even though that we're living in Belgium, right? The Belgian government collapses all the time. Well, the Northern Irish government does too. And because that you have like one pro-Irish political party and one pro-loyalist political party, when that they clash, one of them pulls out, government collapses. It's a very common problem, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of the political decisions takes for ages to be done here. Like for example, gay marriage got legalized partially because the British government forced them to. Abortion got legalized because the British government forced them to. So a lot of the things are much more slow here in the political decision-making process, but there's more to it than that, because at the end of the day we're living at a much more peaceful time now than we were 20 years ago. So we can definitely see that the Good Friday Agreement has been very successful in the vast majority of the aspects that it has had influence on.